Now, Ontario Premier Kathleen Wynne has been under growing pressure to, quote, do something about the situation at City Hall in Toronto. Only the province has the power, should it choose to do so, to remove Mayor Rob Ford from office or to assume administration of municipal services. It would be an extraordinary and controversial thing for any government to do. And today, Wynne said she was not prepared to do that, at least not yet. Here's her first comments on what, if anything, the province is prepared to do.
As Premier of Ontario, there are 4 principles that are currently guiding me. 1, the City of Toronto has a mayor and a council that were elected by the residents of Toronto and must be accountable to them. It's up to the municipal level of government to address the issues that they face. It is not the provincial government's role nor its intention to impose its preferences on that level of government. 2, Toronto City Council has to be able to function. 3, if Council were to clearly indicate that they lack the ability to function as a result of this matter, the province would respond to a request from Council to be provided new tools depending on what that request might be. 4, because of the extraordinary and unique nature of any intervention by the province, I would consult with the other party leaders to see whether the legislature could move unanimously if required.
And the bad news just keeps on coming for Mayor Rob Ford. A new poll finds he is in a tough spot if he wants to run in 2014. This poll, conducted by Ipsos Reid, finds the mayor trailing behind TTC Chair Karen Stintz, who leads among declared candidates with 52%, followed by Ford at 33%, and former City Councillor David Suknacki way back at 14%. The situation gets even worse for the mayor when political heavyweight John Tory gets thrown into the mix. Of course, we don't know if Tory's running, but he'd get 41%, Stintz will get 30%, Ford's back at 22%, and Suknacki at 7%. The X factor in all of this could be NDP MP Olivia Chow. She'd be the left's champion, and if she jumps in, she leads at 36%, and Tory at 28%, Ford down at 20%, Stintz drops way back to 13%, and then back to Suknacki at 7%. That online survey, by the way, was conducted November 8th, and between the 8th and the 12th has an accuracy rate of 4.3 percentage points, 19 times out of 20. So that's a significant, or not a significant, but good size margin of error, as we say. All right. Political consultant Michael Diamond joins us now from Toronto. And Michael, if I understand this, you worked to get Ford elected. You were never one of these staffers that is apparently getting browbeated, it says whatever. But tell me what you make of these polls, his decision to run. This has just been an extraordinary week in anybody's city politics, let alone Toronto.
Who would have ever guessed we'd have such an exciting week in Canadian politics, making American news every day and night. The decision to run is not surprising. Rob Ford is a man who he loves his job as being mayor. He has said that. He loves the constituency aspect. He loves the retail politics, and he thrives on it too. So none of that surprising. The polling numbers are all, we saw polls last week that showed his support actually increased, but this more look at the horse race heading into next October is quite interesting and not great for him, but it's still quite remarkable. He's holding him between 20 and 30%, and let's not forget that if you look at the last 2 competitive races for mayor, being the John Tory David Miller race and the George Smitherman Rob Ford race, those who started with the monstrous lead at the beginning of the campaign did not finish first.
Now, I want to show the clip from today. We're going to show the clip of the mayor apologizing again. And the context for this is we saw in the court documents that were released yesterday some reporting, allegations that Ford approached one of his staffers, suggested he had sexual relations with his staffer. The staffer denies they did. Ford this morning on live television uses very graphic and coarse language to refer to this event and then has to apologize. This is the first apology, though, that Ford has done with his wife standing beside him. So let's play that clip.
The revelations yesterday of cocaine, escorts, and prostitution has pushed me over the line. And I used unforgivable language. And again, I apologize. These allegations are 100% lies. When you attack my integrity as a father and as a husband, I see red. I would ask you, please, please respect my family's privacy.
And Michael, I think we're long past privacy, etc., because it's Ford himself standing on the floor of City Council saying, yeah, I bought illegal drugs. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, it's whenever you bring your wife to a press conference, you also do lose that excuse of leave my family out of it. It's hard to claim you want privacy when you boast of holding the largest backyard barbecues at your family residence every year for open to the entire public. So it's where's the proper line?
He says all that stuff in these court files, 100% lies, apparently threatening to sue some of his former staffers. We'll see where that goes. Okay, if it's going to be he said, she said, the problem with Rob Ford, it seems to be, on credibility is he clearly lied about the crack video and then had to say, yes, he did crack and he's bought illegal drugs. I mean, that seems tough. Yeah, no, it took him a while to get there and announce, and it's obviously a difficult thing to admit publicly. So it's there's definitely going to be questions of credibility with the electorate. Thinking politically again, because again, if you're a political scientist or a political operative, boy, here's a challenge you'll never ever see again. How does he get reelected? If he phoned you up and said, Michael, I need your advice, what would you tell him? Well, he's starting to do some of the right things. He said he has a team treating him. I don't think that's enough at this point. I think, he'd have to be more out there and specific on what that entails. But remember, Rob Ford was never supposed to be elected. He was the obnoxious, overweight, crude councillor from the suburbs who was supposed to lose to the popular deputy premier. And it was Rob Ford's ability to stick to a message like no one I've ever seen before in Canadian politics. You ask him how old his kids are, and he would respond during the campaign, stop the gravy train. What do you think of the environment? Oh, let me tell you about waste on city council. So he always was able to get home. He was very, very, very strict with himself, and he was very disciplined. So if anyone can beat something like this, it's a man who showed that discipline in the campaign. It's going to be awfully tough. There's a lot of other candidates who are coming in quite strong. David Soknacki, is polling at recognition of 16% and polling at 14% support, which is quite amazing. Clarence Stintz is doing very well, and the others. So it's going to be very, very competitive. But the bigger the race, I think, even though the polling doesn't may necessarily suggest the same. But at this point, the bigger the race, the better it is for Ford if he can hold on to a base of support. Michael Diamond in Toronto tonight. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.